Hey guys, want to make a video about the Discord. Anyone who's seen my recent videos has seen me reference this. But if you're new to my content, my name's Jason. I'm a short, focused day trader in the low float, small cap space. And most of my patterns that are short are patterns where we're essentially reading price action at the top of the chart, right? And we're shorting near the top of the chart and we're holding for like 20-30% moves, right? So all my patterns are mostly based on big holds and shorting at the top, right? So how do you do that? So in low floats, if you're new to this space, if you're not new to this space, pretty much low floats can go up 100, 200% in a day. They could fade 30, 40% in a day. Trading hundreds of millions of shares sometimes, and there's a lot of money to be made, and there's a lot of money to be lost. Most people lose money, mostly because either they're trading oversimplified patterns. They just see big gapper. I taught big gappers are good shorts. So I mark it open, I start scaling in, and I hope it works, right, or something. Or they try to short. Oh, high day clear out. If something breaks high day, pulls back, that's good short. I don't really think about charts that way. I don't think about my patterns that way. Um, in the beginning, most people gravitate towards something that's very simple, easy to understand, but the longer and longer you stay in this game, the more and more you learn about how charts move and how to think about volume, how to think about candlesticks, how to think about certain times of the day. Um, so my YouTube is filled, and my Twitter is filled as 3 to 4 years of free content, tons of free content, shows you exactly how I trade. But what this Discord is, it's pretty much it's me gathering all the info I've made free over the years and really going in depth, trying to build a community where we could focus on liquidity, we could focus on trading, and you could get a much more in-depth understanding of the way I trade, as opposed to just going through my free content, which I do recommend you do. It's out there. It's all yours. But this community is more of a in-depth education and focused Discord community, right? So this Discord, okay, is not a price alert. I'm going to give you price alerts. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to make you rich. Okay, that's not what this Discord is. A lot of people who might join this Discord will not be happy because that's what most people want. Most people just want to be told what to do. They want you to say, hey, when it's this level, short full size. I'm going to tell you when I enter. Just follow me, and you're going to make tons and tons of money. And that's what most people want. And if you're that type of person, this Discord's not for you. It's absolutely not, okay? This type of Discord is pretty much for the people who've been following my content for the past 3-4 years. I have almost 4,000 followers on Twitter just from posting observations about price action and volume and liquidity, right? I don't post P&Ls. I don't get price alerts. I don't show expensive cars, okay? It's actually kind of amazing I even have that number because really if you want a significant amount of followers, that's what you do. Just post your biggest gains, post your best charts, post all the expensive stuff you buy, and people will follow you, right? And then it'll ask you to tell them how to trade, right? That's exactly what they'll do. So it's not what this Discord is. It's gonna be purely education focused. I will post it. I post with my full-time trading friends who go short and long. I DM them. We're in private little groups. We share ideas. I'm constantly talking about what I'm seeing on the charts, what I'm looking for, what I'm thinking about the price action and volume. And I'm going to bring that to this Discord, right? So, but again, it's not going to be price alerts. It's going to be a lot of I'm looking at this level, right? It's like, and this is fitting this type of pattern, and you can see this stuff on the tape. It's going to be. But it's ultimately going to be up to you to decide how you're going to trade it, where you're going to enter, what your price targets are, what you're going to risk. I have friends who I've personally taught my setups and my patterns to, and even to this day, we have slightly different entries, we have slightly different risks. They are full-time traders who accept the responsibility of ultimately these are my decisions. I'm going to go in. I like Jason's patterns, I like his content. We're good friends. I'm going to take what he's telling me and I'm going to do my own thing with it, and that's great. I learned a lot from people who trade different from me, right? So this room is not about just copying my trades and giving alerts. This room's about um, just discussing patterns, discussing the low flow market, right? And talking about things that short patterns that we think are A plus, some of the best shorts of the week, and long patterns, like what does a manipulated long pattern look like, and how can we avoid that as a short so we don't get caught, right? Um, so I'll go through some of this Discord right now. Um, on the left side here, I have it organized into here's the chat rooms. Here's short patterns. So here's our patterns. So here's a quick pre-market pop. I just made a video about this the other day, right? And it's me just going through. Um, Sometimes up higher I'll make observations about what I'm seeing, but I really wanted to build this out as fast as I could, so I just been copying and pasting um, charts of this pattern. Here's a fake 5-minute flag. I have a YouTube video about this. How does a fake 5-minute flag work? How do you predict when to short here, like up here? You're shorting here, not down here. You're shorting here, and you're catching this move, right? You're shorting here, and you're catching this move, right? Um, we're shorting into strength. A lot of my patterns are just especially at the top. You're shorting into strength, but you think it's weak, right? And you have defined risk. I'm not a short trader. A lot of short traders out there are just, oh, this thing's gapping in the pre-market. I'll short it and risk 50, 100%. I'll have this wide risk. So that way, I know most of these stocks come down. If I have wide enough risk, I'll win 95% at a time. And then once things start squeezing, I'll take massive, max daily losses, and I'll just deal. That's not how I trade, right? Very specific price action leading up to the move. Certain technicals that I'm looking for. Certain volume that I'm looking for, and we're hitting trades at key levels, and we're expecting it to make this type of move, right? And if it doesn't make this type of move, we have tight risk. A lot of my risk is 3 to 5%. And if it gets hit, I just accept that the pattern didn't work. That's all I do. So it's my type of trading. There's tons of stuff in here I've never talked about on my Twitter and YouTube in depth, right? A lot of classic backside patterns. Some of them I have talked about, some of them I haven't talked about. A lot of short sellers say, hey, my win rate in the middle of the day, my win rate is really low. It's like when there's many short sellers out there where if the morning pattern works, they make all their money. If the morning pattern doesn't work, they're done for the day. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's actually plenty of short sellers who make all their money that way, right? But there's a ton of opportunity midday. There's a ton of opportunity on these big strong squeezers that seem to hold up, right? And there's patterns that exist. The only difference is the reason a lot of morning shorts don't make good money midday is because the patterns midday are just different patterns, right? They're just you can't just apply your morning patterns midday and expect them to work, right? So yeah, there's tons of great midday patterns you could trade. There's tons of morning patterns, tons of pre-market. This is one of the best pre-market patterns I just made a video on. In terms of big fade potential that you can short at the top. The stuff about swing shorting, this is stuff I've been posting on my Twitter past couple of months. Talk about great swing short opportunities, what makes a swing short a good opportunity, right? How do you predict like this type of move into this type of move, right? A lot of it is shorting in the afternoon. A lot of it is shorting in the after hours. I talked about RNAS, right? After hours short into the offering. Tons of stuff about swing trading, building it out. The super rare situations, just when weird things happen, you should know about them. You should know about when crazy stuff happens, right? Track that stuff. So now I have some long pattern stuff, which are really just short patterns that I think are strong, right? Sometimes you get very obvious candles that look really weak, but I think they're strong, right? So what type of situation leads to something like this? Here's this one's actually kind of crazy because it's Carvana. But in low floats, you see this all the time. You see, big volume, high day clear out. A lot of the reason, this is how you lose money as retail short, right? How do retail shorts lose money? They apply the morning patterns midday and they get squeezed, right? So start tracking that. What are the retail short patterns that are actually low odds, right? How can you avoid that so you don't lose a bunch of money if you're a short seller? And if you want to develop that skill, how do you go long? How do you use that information about how other people are trading to make a lot of money, right? So it's important, right? Like, it's not just making money, it's also not losing money, right? It's much easier to lose money than it is to make money, so it's worth studying how to. It's actually worth studying a lot more how to not lose money than it is how to make money. And yeah, and then I have tons of stuff in here. We scroll down. I call this bearish. I'll move my screen over. This is bearish price action, right? These aren't necessarily patterns, but they are specific types of price action where when you see it, it's going to look really strong. 99% of people, it's going to think it's strong, but you're going to know, hey, when I see this, this is actually weak, and I need to think about it in this way, right? If retail traders lose 95% of the time, that just means the way retail traders look at stocks, and which is very, stock trading, especially in low floats, is very counterintuitive, right? You have to see strength at certain moments and think it's super weak, right? That's how you make the most money. And same thing with longing. At longing, you have to see weakness at certain moments and think it's super strong, right? That's the most edge is developing that counterintuitive mindset, but at the right moments. You can't just see weakness and start longing. You can't just see strength and start shorting, right? It really you really have to study the exact moments of when you need to be bearish on strength or bullish on weakness, right? So that's what this section's about. Bearish price action, right? Like, here's a classic one. What happens when you see support break and a bunch of volume comes in, right? Most longs, retail longs, if they see support break and they see a bunch of buying come in, they're going to think it's going to go to the upside, right? Well, what are the situations where it looks like it's going to go to the upside, but there's a hidden seller, right? So there's a seller on the tape. It's not letting it through, right? It hits a price. In this case, it's 1.7. And that guy, you see thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of shares going through 1.7, and it's not moving, right? At the right moment, this could be a great short. If you read this at the right moment, you don't have to look how manipulated this is, right? How do you possibly read this, right? How do you look at a chart that's doing, up, up, down, 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 up, down, like it seems like how do you read that, right? A lot of shorts. I'll just start shorting and have wide risk and hope it works, right? That's what they do. Hope it works. And if I get squeezed 50, 100%, then I lose a bunch of money that day, right? But, the way I trade is, I know I've seen this type of manipulated action where support breaks and a bunch of buying comes in. If I see it stall and it's at the right moment in the chart, I could short this with 3-4 cent risk. And look at this. This ends up fading to, way below this support, ends up fading way lower, right? So that's a 40-cent trade. And you can really have 5-10 hour trades on very specific price action if you know what you're looking for, right? If you really know what you're looking for. So this type of stuff happens over and over and over again, right? Again, insane buying coming in, hits a hidden seller, fat rollover, right? You got to train your brain at the right moment. How do I see this, and how do I think about it, right? Because at 99% of people is going to think that's strong, and if 99% of people lose money, then there's something wrong with that, right? So and then we have bullish price action, right? How do you not get caught short when something really bullish is forming on the chart, right? How can you, and again, these are factors, right? There's always multiple factors going on. The reason trading's so hard is because there's always multiple things you have to consider at the same time. And really, the art of trading is knowing when to factor in bullish and bearish stuff at the right time, right? Like, how do I need to think about this chart? How do I need to think about volume? How do I need to think about these painted levels? See this $2 squeeze all these $2 people. Like, how do I think about that in real time so I know what decision to make and when, right? Like, that's how you're gonna decrease your losses. That's how you're gonna increase your profits, right? It's forming an opinion about what's happening in front of you So you can either, avoid short. If you're just, like me, I mostly short 90-95% of the time. So there's a lot of situations where I consider it bullish. I'm not necessarily long because maybe my read on the long entry isn't very good, but I know not to short it, and I'll just completely avoid um, the first couple short squeezes, right? I'll avoid the first one or two short squeezes, and then I go to my midday patterns, right? Something like this, some like little backside, you know, backside clear out. Every long thinks it's gonna break $10, which is high day right here, and it just instantly rejects. This is a 20% fade, super clean. It's actually down halted here, cracked VWAP. How do sometimes you're gonna get your morning patterns, right? Sometimes you're gonna get your market open 9:45, 10 a.m. patterns, and sometimes those patterns either just aren't good odds. You avoid them, or maybe you take losses. Everyone takes losses. Nothing wrong with taking losses. Um, but what do you do when a big squeeze happens and you start getting midday price action, right? Can you make that money back if you lost on the front side? Do you just give up like most short sellers do? Do you just have wide risk like most short sellers do? You know what I mean? Like, what's your how do you want to trade? Do you want to be a wide risk guy? Go be a wide risk guy. Do you want to be I only short in the morning? Be only short in the morning, right? Um, but I'm all about reading the chart, reading liquidity. There's plenty of times I've taken, one or two losses in the morning, made it all back and more in the afternoon. There's times where my afternoon stuff doesn't happen and I finish red on the day. Um, and mostly I don't have big red days, right? I have tight risk patterns, and if they don't work, maybe I get something later, maybe I don't, right? And this is how I trade, and everything is listed in here. Like if you see my YouTube, seen my Facebook, uh, you'll have like the average person who's going to be joining this has been following me for a decent amount of time. It might get some new people. I think it's interesting. A lot of those new people are going to think I'm going to tell them how to trade and in terms of like price alerts and when to get in. I'm going to show you like exactly when to enter. Um, I'm telling you, any new person right now, that's not going to happen, right? But the average person going in this has been somebody who's been following my content, likes my content, uh, and is interested in being a part of this type of community, right? So a question about the Discord people might have, of course, is it going to cost money? And the answer is yes. Now, why is it going to cost money? So I can make some money? Sure. But you got to understand, first of all, educational discords like this, where I'm just trying to build like a little community based around, understanding liquidity and price action, and it's just going to be a very education. Education does not sell, okay? Like, what sells is showing people your P&L and showing people Lambos and Ferraris. Like, that's what sells, okay? If you want to make the most money from a Discord, you do not sell education. Most people do not care about education. They don't care at all. They say they care. They tell themselves, yeah, I'm going to learn how to do this. But really what they're doing is, this guy's going to show me how to get super rich so I can have all the nice things this guy has, right? That's what sells. You sell the dream. You don't sell education, okay? Okay. So yeah, I will make some money, but I'd make 10x the money showing expensive things and daily P&Ls and all that stuff, okay? Um, easily. Okay, so yeah, I will make some money. But the other part of charging for a Discord has to do with you guys. It has to do with the quality of the community, right? The problem with free Discords is that it's such a low barrier to entry that you get a wide variety of people who join. And in free Discords, what tends to happen is the super successful guys, they might join because like, hey, I like Jason, I like his stuff. I'll be a part of his Discord. It's free. I just have to click an invite link, and I'll join. But the thing is, with the highest quality guys, is they often don't want to chat. They often don't want to talk in in the study room or the trading room. They often don't want to have a lot of conversations because the room is going to be filled with essentially FinTwit noobs who, like I said, most of them are not interested in studying and learning. Most of them are just interested in showing their P&Ls or being told how to trade, and that's it. Okay, like you get some high quality people, you get a lot of normal people who are just interested in learning, and then you get a bunch of the low quality FinTwit people. You know what I mean? And there's tons of them. There's tons of, and the thing about the lowest quality people is that they talk the most, right? They fill up your chat. You have to do a lot of policing. You have to do a lot of parenting. You know what I mean? You have to be like, okay, kids, stop posting low quality trolling, stuff on my Discord and actually focus, on making money and take this seriously, right? So yeah, I mean, you need to create charging for the Discord creates a barrier to entry for low quality people, and if they want to come, they can join the Discord. They can pay me some money, right? I got some rules like no trolling, right? No harassing people for their P&L and entry and exit charts, right? No callouts or alerts. If you want to join my Discord and break these rules, then I'll just keep your money and ban you. That's fine. If you want to troll, you want to give me some money to troll exactly one time before I full ban you from the Discord and not give you your money back, go ahead. And if you want to keep doing that over and over again, I support you. I support you doing that stuff. Okay. Um, but yeah, I'm making it very clear what this Discord's about. All right. So uh, again, most of the people who are going to be joining this are people who already see my content because, like I said, I don't I don't post expensive things on Twitter, don't post P&Ls on Twitter. I just post content so the people who consistently been following me and watching me are interested in that content. They're interested in being part of the community. Um, they're interested in talking about charts, talking about stocks, right? They're not interested in doing this low quality stuff in that you see in free discords, right? Uh, so yeah. So how much am I charging for it? Don't want to make it too expensive, so I'm gonna do it through a Patreon, right? Because Patreon will give you, as long as you're a Patreon member, you get access to the Discord. It's all automated. Um, I think most people, especially coming from YouTube, understand the Patreon model. And yeah, as long as you're subscribed to the Patreon, you get access to the Discord. There's not going to be any content on the Patreon itself. It's just for Discord access, and that way Discord automates everything. On my side, as long as you pay, you're in the Discord. You stop paying, it kicks you out. It's very easy for me. It's pretty easy for you too. It's gonna be $50 a month. All right. Don't want to make it too high. Don't want to charge. And people easily charge a couple hundred a month for something like this. I'm not really interested in doing it. I just want to make it high enough to discourage low quality people from joining. Really. Also make some money. Again, it's not going to be a whole lot compared to my trading account. It's actually going to be laughably small. So, yeah, that's what this video is about. There should be a Patreon link down below. I'll get that all set up. Should be all ready to go. Hopefully, it just sends you. I'm pretty new to this. Hoping it just sends you a link to the Discord right away. If you're early on this, if you saw this video and joined right away, there might be a few hiccups, but I'm going to fix it. And yeah, so yeah, this is should give you a good idea here about what the Discord's about, what I'm interested in talking about. If you see me post screenshots of my Discord conversations on Twitter, you'll have a good idea of what I'm going to be talking about in terms of live trading, what I'm looking for on the charts, that type of thing. So you'll see that type of commentary during the day. And I'll just be up, and I'm constantly just building. These come from my own files. This is stuff I do on my own, right? So this is a lot of me is just copying and pasting this information from my own files into a public Discord, right? So you'll get access to a lot of that info, and yeah, and hopefully we can have a fun little community. Get the people who want to stay and want to contribute. Get some high quality people who are interested in it could be long, could be short. Believe it or not, most of my friends are long traders because of how I talk about stocks. A lot of longs end up becoming friends with me because I phrase things in terms of long traps, right? It's like, what do I think is a long pattern that is actually weak, right? And longs see that, they're like, man, I've been caught in these moves so many times, and then a lot of these guys are 7-figure traders, really successful, and then we end up just having conversations. So yeah, there's a lot of longs who would get value just from seeing what a good short pattern is, and same with shorts. Like I said earlier, what a short trap looks like, right? How do you think about short traps, right? How can you anticipate that they might happen, right? How can you maybe form an opinion depending on what's happening on the chart, whether you're looking to be short or you're already in short, like what your risk should be, and that type of thing. So a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, click the link below to the Patreon, and it should give you a link to the Discord. And look forward to having everyone in here. I hope this was interesting. And yeah, I'll be building this out more. So this again, I've been building this out past month, actually probably past couple weeks, and I just hope to get more information in here. I'm constantly posting my new ideas. You know, like a lot of stuff is just me like, man, I want to share this. I want to share this. I'm just like adding more and more stuff. Again, a lot of it is stuff I haven't even shared on Twitter or YouTube yet. So hope that's interesting, guys. Click the link below. Yeah, it'd be cool. Hopefully this is a, we have a nice little community here, and we all get better at trading together. And yeah, look forward to anyone who's looking to join. Should be really fun. All right, see you guys.